Dun 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 dun. Little pig, let me in.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brickmaker channel. I'm bringing you a character build that was suggested very recently, and it's a video that I have been wanting to make for a very long time. Not necessarily this character build, but I've been wanting to use a baseball bat only run, and once I saw this challenge be suggested, I thought this would be perfect. Negan, for those who don't know, is a character in The Walking Dead. Plays a villain, plays a pretty bad guy, but he's also a pretty cool cat. And he's one of my most favourite characters from that show before that show started getting really, a bit crap. Without further ado and not wasting any more time, we'll be asking the question, can you beat Fallout 4 as Negan? In terms of mods, we added Deadly Raiders of the Commonwealth, which adds a ton of new raiders and some special name raiders that you might be noticing on the screen right now. We also added in Ballistic Weave because I don't want to go with the railroad, and Zombie Walkers, which turns all of the feral ghouls into zombies and causes dead enemies to turn to zombies as well. It's a pretty nice mod, it makes the feral ghouls much stronger, and the rest are just normal cosmetic mods.
I am not gonna have time to screw any of my wives today.
Our story begins, as all good stories do, in a bathroom covered in steam. Now when it comes to trying to make him look like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, yeah, I definitely tried my best, didn't just spend a couple minutes on it. I named him Negan, and put most of my stats into strength and agility for the perks you'll see later. I watched my wife get a haircut, and enjoy as my retinas get vaporized by the outside world. The first location I'm heading to is just outside Concord because I am wanting to pick up a baseball bat. Now I know in the show Negan uses a couple different weapons, but I've decided that I'm just going to keep it strictly to baseball bats as I've been wanting to do a baseball bat run for a while. We also encounter our first zombie. Ooh. We decide to attack the Museum of Freedom straight away and immediately realise just how much the raiders have been buffed. Not only have the raiders got strong, but my god, watch how hard it is to take out this zombie. The mod allows you to set it to different body parts that do more damage, and I do eventually turn off only headshots as I'm using a weapon that doesn't do headshots. I also encounter my very first Raider Vertibird. Honestly, one of the more difficult starts to a video. I run all the way back and get my very first Lucille. And if you guys want to make it as well, I think Oak and Barbed is pretty accurate.
Look at my dirty girl.
On my way to get the outfit for this playthrough, I also run into my first Raider Gladiator, which is more or less just a Raider that has a massive sword. This early game in terms of the Raider population is unbelievably unforgiving. But I would genuinely recommend that mod to anyone who wants to make their game just a little bit more difficult. I also run into Zombie Central around College Square, and decide that the best course of action is to get the free help from all the Brotherhood of Steel, who is, well, more or less capable of taking them out with headshots. I give Paladin Dance one of the worst stink eyes I've ever given anyone, and make my way over to Diamond City where I run into one of my first gunner recruiters. This guy pretty much sets out the contracts for all of the special name raiders. The ones that we saw at the start of the video. You get a bit of caps, a little bit of XP, that's more or less it. But before we do anything like that, we do pop into Diamond City and start making our way towards Park Street Station to start saving Nick. At this stage, I just need levels. I just need to get my character stronger because this Commonwealth is unbelievably powerful at this stage. I also decided to pop into Good Neighbor and discuss something I have to do throughout this video. I can only give sarcastic and aggressive responses to any character, meaning most of my encounters end like this. After making a nice thin omelette, I head over to Fanny Hall because this is one of the very few locations where you can get a guaranteed pickup for the greaser jacket and jeans. Which for you who don't know, that's more or less the closest thing I'll get to Negan's outfit. After getting batted around myself for a while, I eventually find the greaser jacket and make my way out for the back door. The character is now more or less complete, so I can start off with getting the quest done. Feeling more confident, I decide not to go save Nick and try and save Preston Garvey. Mainly because I want to see him cry later. I'm sure you guys will figure out why very soon. I start getting these pretty cool animations and VATs for the baseball bat, and tell Preston that I am not going to help him in any way, shape or form. However, you know how it goes, you help out anyway. The XP's there, and I'm not helping them, I'm just clearing out the baddies. At this early stage, I'm starting to see the real power that's in this baseball bat. I mean, that might be the easiest fight with the Deathclaw I've had. And to keep the good times a-rolling, I do finally head back to Park Street Station and start wiping out every single Triggerman I can find. I fight with this Triggerman to a standstill and we both get knocked out. And I run into Nick and hear him say thank you very, very nicely. With that, we get the most important perk that I'll have for this entire playthrough, the Blitz perk. As this has now made me the most deadliest, most powerful weapon with a wooden stick ever created. For those who don't know, Blitz is a perk that makes your melee distance so much farther in VATs. Meaning it don't matter how far away you are, I'm still gonna get you. And with a healthy amount of HP at this point, I can more or less clear out a room without even taking any damage. I generally started to feel like I was Goku using instant transmission, bouncing around a bunch of different rooms as I knocked people's heads clean off their shoulders. And with the final Triggerman taken out, I get right back outside the vault and speak to Valentine and send him off to Diamond City because I don't need no help. I also decide to pop into Hubris Comics as this is the place where you can get the Ballistic Weave note that gives you access to it without having to talk to the railroad. It also felt quite appropriate to be wiping out a bunch of different zombie hives. You know, put me back into the feeling of the show. Now they do a lot more damage and they have a lot more health, but once I turned off the only headshots it actually did become pretty easy. But that doesn't mean that I can't upgrade my arsenal anyway. The best baseball bat in the game is not the 2076 World Series bat, it is the Rockvale Slugger because it has a lot less AP cost. Meaning that me bouncing around with Blitz is going to get a hell of a lot more dangerous. I name him to Lucille, change him to a cedar bat, and go sit down with Nick. I quickly bribe Geneva up in the mayor's office, and decide to pop into the Colonial Tap House to watch a man get his ass beat. There's only one outcome for this, and that is to encourage some violence. I quickly take care of Henry Cook without too much of a problem, and decide to take first base with the back of his neck. Well, no time to think about what I just done, I'm gonna go give a cigar to a dog. And he's gonna help me find Carl. I mean Sean. I'm looking for Sean. On the way I also decided to pop over and finish off Diamond City Blues. In a much more smart way, I decided to grab the raiders from over at Backstreet Apparel and get them fighting on top of this chem deal. When all is said and done, there's only a couple raider brutes left to take out. And all the chem crates are now mine. I know in the show he doesn't necessarily show himself buffing himself out with all these kind of different things, but I thought it felt a little bit appropriate. I don't know, evil character equals chems. On my way to Fort Hagen, I also run into Art. For those who don't know, these two Arts are trying to kill each other because one of them believes the other is a synth. Well, it's a simple answer for Negan, whoever's on his knees is going to get his head blown off. And you know what? The guy who's standing can get his head blown off as well. Because, well, you know, why not? I hop, skip and jump over to Fort Hagen and start making my way through all the different simps. I am literally phasing through doorways and through walls at this point. This melee build with Blitz is unbelievable. I am spawning inside bathrooms due to this. There must be some sort of glitch that you can do because of all this Blitz stuff. There must be. I walk at the end of a hallway, click onto that, and I'm now at the other end. And absolutely terrified. I don't know why I haven't used these builds. This is why I've been wanting to use the baseball bat. I have seen people struggle with that Kellogg fight with a fat man more than I did with that baseball bat. I'm telling you guys, if you guys haven't done a pure melee build with Blitz, please treat yourselves to a nice playthrough like that, because that is, oh. With myself hitting level 10, I finally get the Ballistic Weave note spawned in and start fixing up my Fonzie jacket. With all that upgraded and me feeling pretty confident, the only place it makes sense to go now is Nuka World. Now you guys may be wondering why am I heading over to Nuka World? Well, I just wanted to see Preston Garvey cry. And because having a bunch of different raiders under my control taking over the Commonwealth feels extremely Negan to me. I pop down and just blame Harvey for everything, don't even give him a second to tell me his story, and put him out of his clear misery.
How embarrassing. There they are. They were inside you the whole time. You did have guts. I've never been so wrong in my whole life.
I hop on the train and take in the breathtaking sights of all those gas fields, and get myself blown up inside the gauntlet. Well, it won't matter too much because Overboss Coulter cannot handle my squirt gun. Now, I'm pretty sure I remember an episode of The Walking Dead where Negan took out a bunch of zombies with a squirt gun. I just can't find it right now. If you guys know that episode, please leave it down in the comments below. I know it exists. With Coulter wiped out in about 4 hits, I get my big old promotion to head of the gangs. And I've got Gage as my little sidekick.
You know, you do the same damn stink eye as your dad, except it's only half as good because, well, you know, you're missing an eye.
Now, a little peek behind the curtains right now. I've never fully completed the Nuka World DLC as a raider. I always get halfway through it. I usually complete up until taking out the gang at the end, but I never go all the way through and actually start taking over the Commonwealth, so this will be a nice fun experience for me. Maybe I'll learn something new about the game. I pop in and talk to all the different gangs, giving them very, very threatening dialogue, just because it felt very appropriate to do. Most of the gangs respond pretty well to it, except for William Black. He's got a bit of an attitude, but...
Well, pardon me, young man, excuse the shit out of my goddamn French, but did you just threaten me?
But I'll accept it for now because I do like his hair. And I go and threaten Mason a little bit more because I love that he proper keels down and says not in front of the... I love it. It's a real nice touch for Mason. Not much to do now other than wipe out all the different locations for the gangs. I started off with the Kiddie Kingdom, and I won't waste too much time with what I had to do here. I'll just pop into all the different locations and show you what I had to do. In the employee tunnels, head into King Cola's castle, be very unimpressed with all the magic that he is performing, and show him my own version of magic by just absolutely flying around the room with my metal bat. Oswald the Outrageous didn't even get a swing in. All he could do is fly away in his magic poof. Not one hit. Only one zombie got up. I pop into the funhouse and smack him in the back of the butt for a good measure. And I can now fight him on top of King Cola's castle. I give him only nasty dialogue because that is the character I'm playing. And once the talking is done, watch this. I genuinely start flying around the room with him. Because I've activated the VATS and I can hit as many shots as I need to because of the Rockville Slugger's low AP cost, no matter where he spawns, I follow him into the mist. He must have thought I was a demon incarnate the way I was flying around the room. Which brings me back to episode 17 of season 42, where Negan started magically flying around one of the cities, taking out a bunch of zombies. I wipe out Oswald's health about 12 times, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't take this many attempts, but I think the blitz was just glitching him out. I think I was taking his health so quickly the game started glitching it.
This is the kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
But with him taken out, I'm able to go up to the front, get the signal flagpole, and I'm able to set this place for one of my gangs. I decide to give it to the operators. Next place I'm heading off to is Westworld for old Gill and Gulp, or Dry Rock Gulch, that's what it's called. Thanks for popping up on the screen, genuinely forgot what it was called. I tried my best to wipe out all the robots before the quest started, but you actually can't take out the sheriffs beforehand, which was pretty disappointing. However, all the other robots are in here, you can just wipe them out. And you can just grab the save combination off of their corpse. However, I'm pretty sure the game doesn't like that because Doc Fostafate, whatever his name is, decided to start spawning me outside the saloon as I attacked. The Giddy Up Kid is the last one to fall, and it allows me to get over to the Bloodworm Queen. She suffers a similar fate to old Oswald the Outrageous, as I start phasing around the room, and with the infestation taken out, I am finally able to wipe out the sheriffs as well. Something I had no idea of was that there was actually 2 sheriffs. I think every time that I've came into this area I just assumed there was one and never noticed that their names changed. With Sheriff Hawk and Eagle taken out, I'm able to get this place for the pack. The next place is Safari Adventure. Now this place is crawling with gator claws, which take a lot more swings than normal death claws do. But I will let you in on a little secret. Do you know who doesn't take many swings to take out? Good old Cito. And this is a big first for me. I've never taken out Cito. I always help him out and get him to live with the pack, but we don't have any time for that and I send him into a red paste. This location's pretty simple. You gotta get the codes to get into the basement so you can start destroying all the different cloning devices. There is an albino gator claw down here that usually causes a little bit of trouble, but I'd built up pretty much all my AP and was able to get a couple crits into the fight as well. With the albino taken out, it's just a case of turning the computer off and wiping out the rest of the gator claws all around the park. Not too much of a problem, just takes a bit of time. So I won't waste too much except for this one fight between the gator claw and the Yaoguai because I always enjoy standing and watching. Why interfere when you can just sit back and enjoy it with some nice popcorn? The gator claw always wins, and with him taken out, the only people that's left to finish off is the gorillas, which is... it's sad, but not even gorillas are able to survive the world of Negan. Oh yes, it's true, someone like me could get the PAX flag on this place too. The World of Refreshment is next, and there's not too much to wipe out here, not too much interesting either. It's actually quite weird, it's the only area that kind of doesn't have a story to it. I suppose it does a lot of the heavy lifting that they're Nuka-Lurks instead of Mirelurks, but I feel like every other location had a small quest, whereas here's just take out everything that isn't nice. And I'll tell you who isn't nice, all these goddamn Assaultrons. The only real issue I had, to be honest. And I am including the Nuclear Queen in that because, these huge enemies, when you get this close and you've got enough crits saved up, as long as you stand just at the bottom of their legs, they really can't do much to hurt you down here. The Nuclear Queen is most dangerous at range, and because I'm up close and personal, I'm able to take them out pretty fast. Another easy fight is the Nuclear Kings as well because they don't have much armor. And with them all taken out, I'm able to head back up and get this for the operators. It just feels the most fitting. You know, operating a bottle plant, I don't know. The last and my least favourite area to take out is the Galactic Zone, because you gotta go grab all these goddamn star cores. This is, in terms of a video, this is where the most gameplay is cut into the shortest amount of time. Like, percentage wise, I think in Galactic Zone I probably spent just over an hour, which is just, you really shouldn't have to, but you do because you just gotta gather all of those things. But with all those zones wiped out, I'm able to finally move on and unlock Shank. Now Shank is the man who is going to let us start taking over the Commonwealth one little area at a time. And I just love the way that once you pick a location that you're going to go take over, that he always looks in his look. What's in that book? What's he got in there? Yeah, that one. What information does he have? Despite my pure lack of faith in Shank's book, I do decide to go wipe out the Dumpling Diner with Wolfgang because that may be up there with selling Arcade to Caesar in terms of evil. Anyone who sides with Wolfgang and Simone because they believe it's the right thing to do are bad people. And you know who also are bad people? People who don't like and subscribe the video. Remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Sub. Please. I need it. Oh, there's more. With that, I take my first settlement for the raiders. And also decide to start taking over some farms for supplies. Genuinely the first time I've ever done this specific part of the quest. I usually just take over locations, but this time I've never seen hired gun before. This is the first time I've ever encountered hired gun. And those hired guns are bloody useless because they cannot do a single thing to protect Blake from breaking his old kneecaps with Lucille. I also encounter this sinner gang for the first time. I mean, a raider gang coming up against my raider gang. This is just perfect. This is like when, what was his name? The cowboy, the sheriff. I'm forgetting all the characters in The Walking Dead. The guy that shouts Coral, that guy. He was in Love Actually. Who remember? Leave his name in the comments. Andrew Lincoln. I remember the actor, Andrew Lincoln. This is like when Andrew Lincoln came up and messed with Negan. It's a 1-for-1 shot pretty much. It's even got the explosions like when they had that RPG. Why can't I remember his name? What is his name in the show? Rick! His name's Rick. Why did I forget his name was Rick? Rick and Carl. And Shane. I liked Shane. I really enjoyed The Walking Dead. It got really bad after the Negan season. It got real shit. You guys leave down below what show you like. Did you like The Walking Dead? What other shows do you want me to do character runs for? Do you want me to do another Walking Dead character? Shane could be fun. Maybe for Falloutnewvegas? I don't know. What's happening on the screen? Oh, I'm wiping out the zombies in Jamaica Plain. And I planted another flag. I am just having a whale of a time with old Lucille here. And I've become the Wasteland Warlord. However, it's not all fun and games because I have just been told that some bad things are going on back at Nuka World. Apparently, the disciples are not too happy with me. It might be because I gave them absolutely nothing, because even if you're doing an evil playthrough, to help the disciples is that's too far for me. They are genuinely horrible people. They might be the worst faction in this Fallout 4. They might be the worst. I don't think there's anyone more evil. Leave a comment down below. Who is the most evil gang in this game? Because to me, it can only be the disciples, and Negan ain't gonna hang out with these creepy bastards. With only Nisha up here holding down the fort, and her other two lackeys not here to help, it's a pretty simple battle. Yes, she can do a good amount of damage, but nothing can stop the unwieldy might of Lucille. And with the disciples wiped out, I'm able to sit back and enjoy the fruits of my labour, and get a nice free fireworks show.
Hot diggity dog! This place is magnificent.
Enjoying my new kingdom with my new empire. Because we are all Negan. You're Negan. I'm Negan. The Alpha are Negan. The operators are Negan. But who isn't Negan is Dixie and Savoy. Because they've still got to meet their maker.
Today, not tomorrow, I will cut pieces off hell's his name?
Real strange that the rest of the gangs don't just flood into Fizztop Mountain. You've still got to go in yourself to take them out. Negan is doing a lot of lifting for a character that shouldn't have to. But Fallout 4 is Fallout 4 and you cannot send people to go do your work for you. And with that, I also decided to go take a bunch of other areas just to get the 8 out of 8 and get it nice and set up. Now here's my moment. Now it is heartwarming that Preston still gives me a lot of chances. For those who don't know, the Minutemen are kind of like the yes man ending. No matter what you do, they'll always help you. So unless I went and grabbed a mod, there's no way I can wipe them out. So Preston can just give me the side eye, the stink face, and I'll go on about my business, setting up a bunch of different locations for the rival gangs. My favourite is the Pack, but I believe that Negan's favourite would be the Operators, I think. I also decided to pop over to Spectacle Island to grab the Luck Bobblehead because I want to get my character not just Blitz and VAT, I also want to grab some Critical Bankers, Grim Reaper Sprint, just make myself completely unstoppable. Even though I'm more or less there, I mean, this Mirelurk Queen, God, it didn't stand a goddamn chance in hell, did it? It really didn't stand a chance. I give this one to the operators and get 100% swarmed by a pack of zombies from nowhere. I don't know where they came from. I think it's just part of the mod. Certain areas just have zombie spawns like this. It's pretty cool. Makes you feel a little bit more Walking Dead. And for now, you're just going to be watching me take over some more places, so I might as well take a moment to stop and talk to you guys. I have been having a lot of fun with these videos, so I just want to thank you guys so much for the support. And with Norbert shouting me out in his latest video, I mean, if there was ever motivation to keep making this stuff and to keep going on and on with it, I mean, that's it right there. And while you guys are still coming, I'll keep making these videos. I promise that. So, I really do hope you're enjoying, because I feel like a new breath of fresh air has been breathed right into the channel. Anyway, all the emotions out of the way, it's time to attack another raider gang out at Outpost Zimjimo. Definitely got the name right, 100%. With my future self taking out, gotta say future self, I'm a boomer now, I'm so old. Oh, I'm so old. I'm able to plant my flag, give it over to the pack, and run over into idiot. The Brahmin idiot. That's bloody hilarious. Anyway, with my 8 out of 8 gangs all set up and feeling very powerful, I decided to go over and attack some of the raider gang leaders. The ones that were specifically added in with this mod. The first location is Libertalia. A pretty heavy raider location, I must admit. And you may have noticed some blue lasers being shot at me. That is because there is a named raider here called the Governor. And for anyone who isn't aware, the Governor is another character from The Walking Dead. And I thought that my Negan run wasn't so lore accurate so far. Why does the Governor have an alien blaster?
You are adorable. Did you pick that gun because it looks cool?
I can understand Kellogg's outfit, but an alien blaster? I mean, hey, I didn't make the mod. Whoever created the mod, it's a brilliant mod. I really, really like it. An alien blaster? I don't know. Also, if you come here before the Institute quest, it's Wire instead of Gabriel. Nice fun fact. Kind of like when you meet Gabon instead of Volpes. I don't know. It was interesting to me. Anyway, I'm finally moving on with the main quest, and I'm going to go and inspect Kellogg's brain. I run around a few neurons for a while, get to see him point a gun at his friend, and get myself set off to head over to the Glowing Sea. On my way to the Glowing Sea, I run into another one of the named raider locations. This one not being a Walking Dead character, it's the Mountain. You know, from Game of Thrones. Yeah. Love the Mountain. Especially in his younger years when he was just Hill. Hank Hill. Sorry, I'm sorry. These raiders have death claws. They're called raider beasts and they don't drop anything. I don't know why. But anyway, we're fighting the Mountain. And they have made him massive. I mean, obviously, but still, massive. However, his pure massive size is not enough for the Rockville Slugger. And not enough for Lucille. And once I get Mountain in the corner, there was just no way he was ever going to get out of it. With him taken out, I'm able to wipe out the last of the raiders around him, pick up all his caps, and also get his unique weapon. The Mountain's claymore is a lot more fitting, but it was just a Chinese officer's sword, so not too much to show off. And I start blitzing my way through the Glowing Sea. And yes, even though this irradiated wasteland is here, I'm still the most dangerous thing in it. I arrive at the crater of Atom, and usually the children of Atom are bad people, so I'd probably leave them alone. But the children of Atom in this part are good people, so I'm not going to leave them alone. I'm going to wipe out every single one of them. Their gamma guns actually do a hell of a lot of damage in terms of radiation. But when I'm past them, I get over to the rocky cave and just give Virgil a lot of attitude. He sends me right off to Green Tech, where I'm going to float and spawn and spin around and bounce around this entire place with my baseball bat. If you've ever played Outlast, You know the monster at the end of the first game, the kind of floating shadow? That's me. I'm just the floating shadow bouncing around the rooms. I am unstoppable. Even the gunner that has that missile launcher doesn't even get a shot off while I'm here. But this one gunner with the laser pistol takes a few hits. You know who doesn't take any hits though is the poor Corsair. Never even got the chance to pop his stealth boy. He was already on his knees. Right where he belongs. All these gunners are also kneeling down, so I also decided to send him off the same way he sends off Glenn. Wait, sorry, spoiler. I do the same thing to the escape simp because I'm a bad boy. And pop over to Old North Church to get the Corsair chip decoded. I give Desdemona just the sassiest responses. And when she starts demanding that she can keep the chip, well, their fate was already sealed. I don't even know why I got this far talking to them. Desdemona, this attitude is the reason I got the ballistic weave mod. And because of your attitude, you guys can see what's happening on screen. I'm not even speeding this up, this is just the gameplay. And with them wiped out, I'm able to pop in, just stick it in his computer and it does the rest of the work. And get the schematics from Virgil. Now I've left myself with two options, and one of them isn't particularly happy with me. So for the time being, I'm going to have to buddy up with the old Brotherhood of Steel. I try and hint at most that I'm not a good guy by trying to cook Paladins alive, and I get rewarded with a rifle. And a minigun and airplane tickets. I'm just the naughtiest bad boy. And after listening to Elder Maxon rattle on, I head down without taking the vertibird and fight all the super mutants one-on-one. I'd like to say it was close. I'd like to say his fire hydrant stick could compare to Lucille, but it simply didn't. These super mutants had absolutely no chance in hell. It actually was kind of sad. This poor super mutant with his pipe rifle, not even a named super mutant, Anyway, I get myself teleported right into the Institute, and this is the faction I'm going to be siding with. They kidnap people, they replace them, they're trying to take over the Commonwealth step by step. They're right up my alley. But that don't mean I can't give them all a little bit of sass before I get there. I head in and start talking to all the department heads. The chat with them goes as it normally does, just nonsense. I give them attitude while I'm doing it. And I actually found that you can't really talk yourself out of the Dr. Lee questline. I was just looking for the option I don't care about the Brotherhood, I'm here to side with you. But you actually can't. You have to kind of tell her you're going to help her. And speaking of useless help, X6 decided to come over and help me take out Libertalia. Something that's already been wiped out. Generally, nothing had respawned. I came back and there was nothing here. Except the new synth on the roof.
Well, shit, Rick. You just couldn't stick with us, huh? You had to go with these filthy garbage people. No offense.
Which I was really hoping to wipe out, but I couldn't lock onto him at all. And no matter what happens, he's really frustrated. Is there a way to take out Gabriel and not let him go back to the Institute? Because I'd love that. You know, I just feel like I'm not RPGing hard enough in my RPG game. And the fact that I'm not able to take out Gabriel really upsets me. But I'm able to get my fill of all that fighting while taking up Bunker Hill. No matter how many Brotherhood I took out, they still thought I was a good boy. They must have just been extremely impressed with this sequence right here. I am just hopping in and out of existence while wiping out every single railroad heavy that stands in my way. And after wiping them out, I start making my way towards all the different escape synths in the back. Now I obviously decide to send them back to the Institute because to be a good boy, but that doesn't mean I can't be a little bit of a bad boy, because while I am Negan, I need to take out at least one of them with Lucille.
Maybe you think that the guy that did what he did to your friends wasn't me. Like that was some sort of a put on. Like I'm not the guy with the bat, I'm just the guy that makes your kids spaghetti.
And it was unfortunately Y915. The other two get sent back to the Institute without a scratch on them. For now. They better not have no fucking attitude. And I gotta go meet my father's son on top of the CIT Rotunda. We discuss why humanity should be given up on and we're gonna take over all of it and blah de blah de blah, and God, just wow, so proud. I also get to hear the fantastic news that my son is dying and I'm going to be his usurper. I mean, his successor. And to ensure that nothing gets in the way of me taking over the Institute, I've got to go take out my last named raider. And there's a very obvious reason why this raider poses a threat to my claim to the Institute. I am coming over to Andrew Station so I can fight, well, Negan. And not just any Negan, it's the Warlord Negan. My God, this may be my toughest fight yet. I'm running through bombs and fight. There's people in stealth boys fighting back. And I finally see him in all of his glory. Warlord Negan. Have you noticed him? He's right behind all the 700 people I've just wiped out. He's arrived with his blue baseball bat, looking like the Diamond City radio guy. I start breaking space and time, so I can ensure I get a one-on-one fight with him. And as you can see, this one-on-one fight is going, it's close. It's a close fight. He has dropped his bat, and now he's going to turn it around. The second round's going to be his. He's definitely going to pick it up in the second round. Here's his comeback. There he goes. There. I win. You will never get this. You will never get this. I win. And I get to see his Lucille. And for some reason it's blue. And it's got no legendary effect. But a hell of a lot more damage. But I'm going to keep my own Lucille for now. This is a little bit more special to me. Plus it allows me to break space and time. And with the rest of his raiders wiped out, there's no one to oppose me at the Institute. The only threat is the Brotherhood of Steel. But before I can wipe them out, I've got to put down a little small rebellion in my own camp. And well, if you thought there was any way this was going to get resolved without me swinging this bat, you would be totally correct. No, I decided not to solve this with violence and Lucille. I decided to solve it with, well, still a little bit of threat, you know. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. But instead of me going in there and swinging, I decided to release all of the gorillas. Because me and them have had such a great relationship so far. And to be honest, that relationship ain't going to get much better because even though I released the gorillas, they don't really do much. They don't really fight. They don't really attack. So I decided to solve it the old-fashioned way with my own bat, with Lucille. And because it was such a goddamn disappointment, I also decided to wipe out all the gorillas as well. With that rebellion crushed, I tell the dearest friends to all those people in there to stop being a little bitch and send myself off to the mass fusion building to wipe out the Brotherhood of Steel, ending any possibility of us being goody friends. Because why? Say it with me. I am a bad boy. The baddest of boys. And unfortunately a little bit neutered at this point because this elevator sequence is extremely boring and just a stim-pack playthrough because I can't hit anything. Some zombies also start spawning in the building, nice touch. And I reach the room with the beryllium agitator. I run inside and I'm able to pick it out without too much of an issue. And make pretty quick work of all the sentry bots as well. I miss my Securitrons. I prefer Securitrons. I might put the Securitrons back on. Yeah, I think for the next playthrough I'm going to put Capital Robots back on. That's just a nice touch. The Assaultrons are taken out and I help them clear out the last of the Brotherhood in the lobby. We can't have all these people hanging out in the reception area. It'll get too cluttered. I get my ass teleported right back to the Institute and I'm able to give them all the great news. I have committed mass genocide. Ellie Fillmore was just excited to be a part of it, and we complete mass fusion. My father's son could not be any more happy with me, and he sends me off to one of to me, this quest doesn't make sense. Someone, I don't know, can someone explain it to me, because it feels like with the beryllium agitator and the attack on mass fusion, that feels just like a nice penultimate quest until the final battle. The Brotherhood have that. You get the beryllium agitator and you stick it right in Liberty Prime and you do your final attack. But for some reason the Institute give you that battle, you go through mass fusion, and then they send you off to this random house to talk to a dude in a closet. I mean, this just feels like my entire high school experience all over again. And on top of that, I gotta go record my own podcast. And if you guys want a Brickmaker podcast, please let me down below. It'll sound something like this.
For years now, you have suspected that the Institute still exists. That we are among you. It is true. But it is not the whole truth. We're here. And we are your new masters. Our superior technology represents the future of the Commonwealth. Today, we activate our nuclear reactor, ensuring that we will persevere long after the world above ground ceases to exist. Ensuring that mankind has a future. We have no desire to interfere in the unimportant details of your pathetic existences. We simply insist that you do not interfere with Institute operations. To do so would result in your complete annihilation. Rest easy. Know that the future is out of your control, and that mankind will thrive under our guidance.
No, but seriously, leave a comment down below. Do you want me to do a solo podcast like Bill Burr? I think it would become the ramblings of a madman. With that, we pop the beryllium agitator in the old reactor, and we are now finally ready to attack the Brotherhood. I host my first and last parent-teacher conference, and let my father-son know that everything's going to be okay. I also get to skip right past the railroad quest because I already wiped them all out. With Airship Down popped up, the last thing I got to do is speak to Dr. Lee, convince her to betray her entire youth and wipe out all the people that helped her in her younger days, and I get sent right off to the Boston airport. The goal here is simple: take out enough Brotherhood people, wipe out the things that are blocking the Sims from teleporting in, and get a virus into the back of Liberty Prime so we can fire it at the Pridwin.
God damn, if that ain't the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. Not only is that practical, it's just badass.
Out of all the endings in the game, it's probably the coolest by visual. The Brotherhood Knights and people in power armor really have no defense for my wooden bat with barbed wire on it. And even though I am being lit up like a Christmas tree in the middle of New York City, I am still able to spawn in, put these guys right into the stump with my bat, and crack them in the face. Even a random raider waster tries to get involved out of nowhere. He must not have been familiar with my game. I take out the first location, and I'm literally able to spawn from this building to the top of this platform and take out Proctor Ingram. I mean, that is just unfair. And also at this point, I've been able to pick up the second part of that perk. So I am more or less a god incarnate. With Proctor Quinlan wiped out, I'm able to take out another one of these spawn trapping things and find the last one and take it out as well. There's nothing left to do now except get my random sim virus to stick his hand into Liberty Prime's back passage. And after he checks for lumps, he's going to set him off and get that eye firing right at the top of the Pridwin. I took a moment to start enjoying the sights, and I got randomly teleported out. Funnily enough, I got randomly teleported so I can get a better view, because that's just how considerate my son is. It's not enough just to wipe him out, you've got to get the best view as well. With Airship Down complete, we're able to head back to the Institute, give our father-son his last words, completing the game, answering yes, you can beat Fallout 4 as Negan. Wow. That was, in terms of weaponry, I've had some mods and I have used some weapons. But the baseball bat might take the first place prize in terms of fun and usability. I genuinely felt unstoppable. Like with the ballistic weave, and I could have just done the railroad quest to get that, it would have just taken more recording time that gets these videos out slower. But you can legit just throw on a leather jacket, grab a baseball bat, put on the lowest mod possible, because I think Barb is the lowest mod. There's much more powerful ones. You can throw that on and you can take out the entirety of the Brotherhood of Steel without any exploits. Or, I mean, is Blitz an exploit? It's a perk in the game, but it feels like an exploit. It feels like I'm cheating. And I mean, that just shows how strong a build is. If you feel like you're cheating the game somehow, you truly have got a strong build. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and look forward to more videos in the future. Bye bye guys, take care.